You ready to walk to Dogtown?
You betcha.
Alright, so I'm looking at this tiller. So far, I really like it. 7 horsepower, 17-inch cut. And what I found was, well, I thought only one side of the tines was working some of the time I was using it. And I found that right here, probably in the shade, you can't see, there's a clevis pin that goes through here, right here, with a mouse key on it. It just goes through a hole in the shaft. Well, on this side, you can see a bolt there. I just put that in there because I don't have another clevis pin with a bolt. But what I found in there was this. It's sheared off. And some of the times it would catch just right, and the tines would work a little bit, and then it would slip, and it would slide off, and then the axle was turning, but the tines weren't. So, for the amount of work that this machine did, with that only working intermittently, I'm very impressed. I know that bolt's not a long-term fix, but it'll get me by in the event I want to start it back up and do a little something until I can obtain the proper pin for it. And also what I noticed is that when I first started using it with the cable, I don't even know what you call this, the mobile function lever, the tines engagement lever would be all the way up like that, and when I'd pull on it, I would just pull about that much and it would start engaging. And then for me to pull it all the way down here like this to make it comfortable, it was stretching that spring. And that spring back up in there was stretching all that way, which now that I realize that, I'm not surprised that it snapped and came off of there. So I'm gonna take that cable retention thing loose, get it up out of there to where I can work on it, see if I can bend another hook on the end of that spring, and then reattach it and adjust the cable accordingly so that it doesn't have to pull that far, and see if I just can't get it to work again without having to buy a new cable and all that. If you wonder what all the racket is, I got Jay out here. He volunteered to mow the grass today. And I'm on board with letting him do that. So, yeah, I'm going to do what I can and I'll get back with you. Cable up here to where we can see it. And you can see how it's made, where that spring comes up around that. And you can also see how there's no hook bent in it, so that tells me it's snapped off. I'm going to try to bend another hook on the end of there and see if I can put it back together and make it work. Alright, I was able to bend another hook on the end of that. Just barely, but yeah. That should be good enough. If I get it adjusted right, it should work just fine. So I'm going to attempt to put it back in place now. Okay. I have that spring reattached. And I have the hold down holding the cable. And you see that bend right there? It was all the way up at the end of that before. And now this, if you can get in here where I can show you what I'm talking about, this lever will go that far. That's completely loose. And that's with this handle all the way forward. And before, I would pull it that far and it would engage. And then all this travel here was just pulling on that spring. So I have it now to where this is actually free right here. And here is where it feels like it will actually engage. I'm going to zoom in down there. There we go. That's loose. And that's where it feels like it will engage. And then from there on, that little bit of stretch you see in the spring there. It's just all it takes to get this handle to where it feels like it's comfortable. That should be engaged, and then that's just to make it comfortable. So, it's all theoretical at this point, and there's nothing left to do but to actually try it. So that's what we're going to do next. All right. I'm going to fire it up, see if it'll work. Don't tell Pat I got it fixed that quick because she'll want me to come back out there and plow. Again, she said that amount that I plowed was only half as much as she wants. I'm like, oh my God, are you kidding me? Let's have a look at her. We're sneaking this. She doesn't know we're looking at her. I told her to get herself a pair of cheap tennis shoes for working out there because she'll ruin her work shoes and her run around town shoes. And she's out there in her, I think she's in her sock feet. Like, looks like she took her shoes off. Oh, she's in her house shoes. She's in her house shoes. That silly girl. Alright, that's enough of me looking at her. And look, she's throwing her rocks out in my grass. Oh, that girl. I swear sometimes she don't think it through. I have to go get on her. Alright, y'all. Thanks for watching. We'll see you later. Bye-bye.